You can't say that I don't do. You can't say that I do nothing for you, chat. Did freaking. Not only did I exercise for you yesterday, chat, but now I'm doing the stream even after I have a tummy ache. The stream was postponed by however many minutes because I had a tummy ache. I was suspended with a tummy ache. So, hi chat, how are you today? What's going on? Hey guys, what's happening? Hey. Hey guys, what's up? But I also came onto the stream because today is the freaking... Hell yeah, it's the best time. Cause we got reacting to do. Are you excited, chat? Hee 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 hee. Hoo hoo hoo. Ha 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 ha. Am I gassy? No. I don't even fart. If I have a tummy ache, it just goes right into the porcelain throne. Chillin' scares? Well, we might. There might perhaps be a chilling scare. Excitement is my reaction. Extremely excited. Hell yeah. Ha. Oh. Hi Alcazar. Hi Chronic. She denies all the fame she got from those flirt compilation. What? What fart compilation? Guys, today is the penultimate stream. Tomorrow is the last one. For like almost a month. Wow. Holy crapola. Yeah. Wow. Hehe. I hope you guys cry about it. I hope that you guys miss me forever. I'll miss you forever. Remember to tier 3 subscribe on Twitch if you want the pictures. I'll send some pictures when I get back, and there'll be just a few of them, but in the tier 3 channel, I will be posting the photo updates regularly. You won't be like throughout the day because I'm gonna be distracted doing stuff. I'm gonna be busy, but you can expect a photo dumps when I get back to the hotel. So that'll be morning for you guys. So whenever I get home in the morning, no, whenever I get home at night, that'll be when you wake up. So you wake up to a new cat photo dump. Going on vacation? Have you been under a rock?
Cat will be too busy being whimsy as Fuchs.
Oh my god, I hope so! Eee! Oh, I'm gonna pee my pants. I'm so excited. And I'm so freaking excited to hang out with my friend too. They're already so totally prepared to take a bunch of pictures of me. I wanna be so freaking whimsy. The tooth feels weird. You better be normal. I know why I let some make before this. I didn't even do anything wrong. God forbid. Do... Tentacle Turbia, thank you so much for cueing. Thank you so much, Tentacle Turbia. Here. Stuck in no power time period for over 3 weeks. What happened? Bro, I'd kill myself. Huh? Huh? Hey. What? What? What happened? I saw that. Pawn. Thank you so much for indoctrinating 5 cuemews upon. The subs are on sale? How much are they on sale for?
Cuemew sip. Yowie.
Yowie. Hee. Oh. $35% off? Damn. Yeah. Thank you so much, Pawn, for indoctrinating 5 cuemews. Why do you guys do this stuff when I'm low energy? What the freaking freak, you guys? What the hell? No! Because you're low energy? Ah! But then I feel like I won't be able to give you guys the kisses you deserve. I'll do my best. Post tummy ache, tired kisses. Sevignon! Thank you so much, Lord Sevignon, for indoctrinating 10 freaking cuemews. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much, Sevignon. Thank you so much. And now we have level 5 Hope Train. Yeah, thank you so much. Have a hot water bottle on my tummy. Hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey! Hey! Hey. Chill out. Chill out, guys. Chill out. Let me recover. Let me recuperate. But my freaking skin feels feverish. Oh my goodness. What the freaking... Hello? Chronic, thank you so much for indoctrinating Jokey Silent. Thank you so much, Chronic. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. And freaking TRGS Mobile. Yeah. Thank you so much for indoctrinating 5 cuemews. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sumo boy. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. That's a fake train. Tell me about it. A freaking level 6 hype train and I didn't even do anything. I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here. You freaking goobers. You goofballs. Yo, should do ASMR. Oh, Romans. You're gonna be so upset. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Ooh. I think I'll get my payout when I'm in Japan. I'll get more. Whatever. You know. Yeah. I'm freaking losing my marbles. Shh. I can sense it. Shh. chill out, dude. Chill out. Thought it was freaking over. Stop. 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 Bro. Freaking bro moment. Start stream, get hype train, leave. Perfect. No! I don't want to do that. No! Cuemew is very good in leaving the crowd wanting more. I want you guys to be obsessed with me. I want you guys to be so in love with me. The reverse parasocial streamer. I want you guys to be so parasocial with me. You guys need to get more parasocial stat. How do I make you guys more parasocial? Oh, by posting on social media. That's my problem. My problem is that I'm too much grandma. I gotta post more on social media. I am preparing for my cuemew withdrawal syndrome. No. Or yes, you will have to do that. Because there will be no streams. Forgive me. All I do is cuemew and sin. What more can I do? Exactly. Should I always start DMing you about my day? Yeah. I won't respond, but I'll see it all. Cuemew. Come on, chat. Say it in chat. Cuemew. Come on, guys. Say it in chat. Cuemew. Yeah. You guys got it. Yeah. I think I'm good. I think I'm okay. I think that, yeah! Bro, I'm so freaked up. Come on, gang, let's get into it. I'm excited for this stuff. Whoops. Chat. Welcome, chat, to Grand Sumo, final day of the March 2026 tournament. Let's see who's in the lead. Let's see what our Nishiki is. There's enough Shishi. I don't care about Shishi anymore. I don't freaking care about Shishi anymore. Our Nishiki is the winner. Only our Nishiki. Not quite yapping. There's some sounds there too. Because I have tummy hurt. You dare blame me for having tummy hurt. I'll kill you for that. Oh. I want to see them. Yeah, I only care about
Konnichiwa,
winners.
and thanks for joining us on Grand Sumo Highlights. It's day 15, the final day of the March tournament. After many twists, turns, and unpredictable results in Osaka, it was Sekiwake Kirishima who rose to the challenge, clinching his first title in 14 tournaments and his third overall. The Emperor's Cup is his, but he still has business to finish on the final day, aiming to secure his return to Ozeki. There's plenty to see and get excited about here on day 15 in Osaka, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
How good of a
We
sumo
start
fighter
with
would you
Tobizaru
be?
and Osho Umi, both men with losing
Honestly, I'd be the best sumo wrestler. All I do is dodge out of the way and then tumble over.
records. Osho Umi needs one more win to secure his place in the top division.
You guys
4
wanna watch all
and
of
10
them or
at the
just
moment,
see
the
if
man
our
on the
guy's
right.
here? Who's in the back?
They lock up in
Whoa!
Migi
Look
Yotsu
out!
right hand
Look
inside, left and
out!
outside. Osho Umi
Look
forcing
out!
an
There's a
issue,
daddy
and
back there!
Osho Umi is able to force
Whoa!
Tobizaru
Whoa!
out to go 5 and
Oh
10.
my god,
Tobizaru
is that
6 and
Chanel?
9
Look at
finish.
her!
Very
my
aggressive
gosh!
style of sumo by
That sequin
Osho
pink
Umi,
jacket! Holy shit!
who's competing
balls.
in his
Whoa.
third Makunochi tournament.
Oh my god, I want to be her! Whoa!
With this win, Osho Umi is likely to stay in the
She's
top
the
division
coolest
for the
lady I've ever seen
May
in my
tournament.
life. I want to be her. Wow. She's cool as hell. Look at her.
So it's a lift-out win, not a force-out win.
No.
Frontal lift-out win. See, Osho Umi flexes
I wanna see her
muscles.
again.
Yes, he lifts up the flying monkey.
The flying monkey.
It's Shishi versus...
Shishi, what happened? Shishi, what happened? I willed him, or maybe you shouldn't have. Damn. Damn, Shishi. He was gonna be 80 and wearing a bedazzled blazer. God, I hope so. Yikes, Shishi. Yikes. What happened to him? He was doing so good in February. What happened?
Versus Fuji Seiwon. Fuji Seiwon, the man on the
Shishi
right,
what?
is the
Yeah,
rookie.
he's Ukrainian.
And with a victory here, he claims the Fighting Spirit prize. So a crucial moment for
Shishi
Fuji
looks so good in
Seiwon
February.
on the
Look
right,
at her.
the rookie.
Oh my gosh, I
He
love
meets
her
Shishi
so
6 and
much.
8.
Dude, she's
strong
the
charge
star
by
of this
Shishi.
tournament.
Fuji
Wow.
Seiwon takes the charge. Fuji Seiwon breaks the balance of Shishi and goes after him and wins by Okuri Dashi, and Fuji
Oh my
Seiwon goes
gosh,
to
what
10
happened
and
to
5
Shishi?
with this
The Shishi downfall needs to be studied.
victory. Fuji
Any white
Seiwon
woman in
receives
chat?
the Fighting
Chat, you see
Spirit
any white
prize.
woman in chat?
Congratulations
See
to
any white
the
woman?
28-year-old rookie.
Any white woman?
Kachiage forearm shiver action from the Ukrainian Shishi. Shishi goes after Fuji
I
Seiwon
don't
with
see
his
any white
fierce
women.
pushing and thrusting attack, but Fuji Seiwon stays calm, gets to the rear of Shishi, and he wins the match. From another angle, Kachiage from the right by Shishi.
Yeah, I
Fuji
know white
Seiwon
woman.
takes few licks, but he doesn't budge. He remains calm, looks totally composed, and he gets the job
Get out of
done.
the way, bud. Oh my gosh. How rude.
Kanto Show.
You got 10 wins in the top Makunochi.
Let's go to... Why does this guy have 3 numbers? No one else has ever had 3 numbers. What does that mean? I'm not a gambling man, but Sumo makes me want to bet. Why Sumo? Of all things, Sumo draws, ties. Bruce have 4 draws. How's that possible in Sumo? I'm curious. What happened?
It's Asahaku Ryu taking on Hakuno Fuji. First ever meeting, Asahaku Ryu showcased his skill en route to a double-digit winning
Yo, that guy
record.
has a big pillow. I want that.
It's been a roller coaster tournament for Hakuno Fuji.
They stopped pushing
Hakuno
and
Fuji
started
gains the
making
inside
out.
position,
Honestly,
right hand firm as well.
props to them for having
So,
their restraint most of the
Hakuno
time.
Fuji is in a very advantageous position with a strong grip. He buries his forehead into
This is kind of
Asahaku Ryu's
romantic. They're just
chest
like
area.
embracing.
Hakuno Fuji drives, and he defeats Asahaku Ryu in a very convincing style. Hakuno Fuji
Wow.
gets his win
Time
number
to draw
5.
Sumo Mew. For the love of God, please draw me as a sumo wrestler.
Asahaku Ryu finishes the competition with 10 wins and 5 losses. 5 wins, 6 losses, and 4 absences for the Maegashira 7 Hakuno Fuji. 4 absences and 5 losses. 5 finishes the competition with 10 wins and 5 losses. 5 wins, 6 losses, and 4 absences for the Maegashira
Absences.
7
They
Hakuno
weren't
Fuji.
ties, they were absences. Oh.
So first and foremost, Hakuno Fuji needs to get healthy
He's unhealthy.
because he was working with a banged up lower body pretty much throughout this tournament. And as a result, Hakuno Fuji will
Back
leave
shot.
Osaka with a losing record, but he finishes the
Yo,
competition
check out
with
the
a high
dumpy
note.
Is that
on a
Iron
high
Man?
note
Why
with
does
a
have Iron Man
nice,
on his
solid
outfit?
Yorikiri win on the final day.
Iron Man fit. Oh, beautiful.
He disallowed
Beautiful. I love
Asakuri
her.
from gaining the grip. We have Ichi Yamamoto meeting Mitake
I want to
Umi.
see the bout of the day.
Both men 8 and Uryu and Koto Shoho in one of the highlight matches. And
How is this a bout
they're
of the
doing
day?
pretty well. 9 and 5 for Asakori, 10 and 4 for Koto Shoho. And Asakori leads the series. Koto Shoho needs to defeat Asakori for the very first time if Koto Shoho wants to walk away with his fighting spirit prize. Again, Koto Shoho has to win this match over Asakori to pick up his third fighting spirit prize, Kantosho. See if he can get it
Damn.
done.
Damn.
Asakori charges. Nobody is in front of Asakori as Koto Shoho disappears from his view.
That was bullshit.
Sidestepping Henka move by Koto Shoho.
That was bullshit. We gotta kill that guy. Put that guy in the blender. Send him to the blender. Gonna Yama. Ao Nishiki. Is that Nishiki? Maybe Ao Nishiki was this. Holy shit, she's distraught. Whoa. Damn. Guys, someone tell her that it's not real. Yeah, maybe Ao Nishiki was, he couldn't play in this one because he won the last month. So they said, you can only win one. Whoa. Did you see that? Whoa!
The Osaka tournament. The spring tournament has come down to the final 3 bouts. Hoshorin back, joined by Atami Fuji and Kirishima.
You need to add music. This is really awkward.
So let's
Okay, I just adjusted my position. If that gives me a tummy, I'm gonna kill somebody. Whoa! Kirishima! Oh my god, Ao Nishiki got fucked up too. Whoa. The downfall of the Ukrainians.
Shoryu and Ao Nishiki going head to head. Ao Nishiki has never lost to Ho Shoryu 4-0. Well, it's actually 5-0 if you include Ao Nishiki's win over Ho Shoryu in a playoff as well. Now, Ho Shoryu, he's looking to defeat Ao Nishiki for the very first time. Now, Ao Nishiki, he has to win this match to avoid his first makekoshi as a professional. Who's going to get the job done? The final bout in this year's spring tournament. Strong touch-eye by Ho Shoryu. Ao Nishiki responds. Ao Nishiki goes after Ho Shoryu. Ho Shoryu responds with the kake nage. Hooking inner thigh throw, and down goes Ao Nishiki. Ho Shoryu wins. Ho Shoryu defeats Ao Nishiki for the very first time, and it's a Makekoshi losing record for Aonishiki.
ただいまの決まり手は掛け投げ
Aonishiki will enter the main tournament as a Kadoban Ozeki, meaning he must record more wins than losses or he will lose his Ozeki rank. First Makekoshi for the Ukrainian, and what a beautiful kakenage by Yokozuna Hoshoryu.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen. Honestly though, he was on a winning streak for far too long. He needed to be put in his place, you know? When you win that much, it kind of gets like... You know, it's like I'm over it. Stop winning so much. Aww. Look at the guy behind me. It's like... Bro has the epitome of a frowny face. Bro is the frowning emoji. Hello? I zoned out. When women say they only wear thongs for comfort, I can only think of these dudes. Why? Hmm? I have to go pee, but I'm scared. Because they're wearing thongs? Why do you think of these guys when women say that they wear thongs? Oh! You are homosexual? Kalamawa-shin. Cuemew-shin. Hehe. Ow. That wasn't my tummy, that was my bones. Ow, hello? Whoa. Maybe it's not a bone, maybe it's my nerve. I moved my arm and my elbow started hurting. Ouch. Now it's tingling, like when you, it's your funny bone. Your funny bone isn't, a bone, it's nerves. It's exposed nerves. 'Cause when you bend your arm, the nerve is exposed. And that's why it hurts when you hit it, because it's a nerve. This was his fourth loss in this tournament, so he can't become my Yokozuna. If he loses more than he wins the next tournament, he'll be demoted. Better get your act together on each team. You seem to like sumo. Yeah, I'm a wrestling era. The lady with the face mask under her nose. What section? What quadrant? Hmm? See that one guy in the crowd all black and sunglasses? No. What are you guys looking at that I can't see? Just the left of the butt's wearing pink. The mask is above her nose, is it not? Her mask looks like it's above her nose for me. White man! White man! Everyone point at him. White man. I heart hermano. Who's hermano? Okay. Now where's the guy with the sunglasses? I know. Last photos with ominous backstories. Ooh. My parents are going to Costco. Hello? I thought there was hair on my lip. It was a freaking eyelash. My eyelashes are so long and beautiful. I hate when I'm eating in the YouTube video and all I can see is my dumb ass and the reflection of the black screen waiting for the next vid. Yeah, lighting is, fortunately the lighting isn't, doing that for me. Here, I'll play it so you don't have to see. Here. The necklace of terror.
53-year-old Elvia Cortez wasn't a public figure, nor was she part of some wealthy family. By all accounts, she and her husband, Salomon, lived modestly in rural Colombia, supporting themselves through farm work. They raised animals, worked the land, and used that life to support and educate their children. All that's to say, there was little wealth to be found there, which makes what happened to them feel all the more senseless. At around 4 AM on May 15th, 2000, 4 masked men arrived at the couple's home in the countryside near Simiaka. They cut the power, poisoned the family dog so that it wouldn't give them away, and waited by the front door, dressed entirely in black. According to family members, Elvia left the house at around 5 AM every morning to milk the cows, and these men knew her routine. When Elvia opened the door, they burst in, marched her straight into the bedroom with her husband, gagged and bound them both, and demanded to know where they hid their savings. Elvia and Solomon insisted that they had none. Frustrated, the attackers forced Elvia into a chair and fastened a heavy, homemade device around her neck. The metal collar weighed roughly 12 pounds and pressed tightly against her throat like a rigid medical brace. Before leaving, the intruders placed a cassette tape nearby. When the couple pressed play, a nasal voice came through the speaker. "Please pay attention, Mrs. Cortez. The necklace you're wearing is a bomb." The voice wasn't lying. The collar consisted of 4 PVC tubes, packed with roughly 2 kilograms of dynamite. It had been built so that it couldn't be slipped off. According to the eloquent voice on the tape, Elvia and her husband had until 3 PM to gather 15 million pesos, roughly $7,500 at the time. If they succeeded, the men would return and set Elvia free. If they failed, the bomb would be detonated. The tape also warned the couple not to contact the authorities, threatening that if they did, their children would be killed. The voice thanked them for their attention on the matter and signed off with the ominous name
Ew.
Talak Nico.
What the fuck is that? Ew.
With the attackers gone, Elvia and her husband were left facing an impossible decision.
Stock footage from hell. Ew.
Quietly find a way to gather the money and hope that the extortionists kept their word, or seek help and risk triggering the device. Elvia opted to call her sister, Maria, who in turn contacted the authorities. The police said that in order to help Elvia, she needed to get somewhere remote, but they were hesitant to transport her somewhere themselves, fearing that the bomb might detonate inside their patrol car. They clearly didn't mind risking the life of a taxi driver though, as they ordered one from the nearby city of Chiquinquirá and had it drive Elvia to a quiet stretch of road. Authorities soon turned up and cordoned off the area. As the morning progressed, family members, curious locals, and television crews gathered nearby to watch the operation unfold. At around 8:30 AM, bomb technicians began examining the collar and quickly discovered that the device was far more sophisticated than it appeared. It contained a syringe filled with acid, 6 batteries, a light-sensitive photocell, an electronic control unit, mechanical triggers, and explosive chambers believed to contain RDX. Any mistake could set one of the multiple triggers off. To make matters worse, the responders were completely unprepared. This was the first case of collar bombing in Colombia, and predated the infamous pizza bomber incident in the United States. Nobody was sure how to handle the situation. The technician leading the operation was 28-year-old Jairo Lopez. Colombian reports later noted that he had just become a father, and yet he heroically stepped up to the plate.
You gonna die?
Before beginning, Jairo administered sedatives to Elvia to keep her calm and still, knowing that even the slightest sudden movement could detonate the bomb. As he worked, other officers poured water onto the device and around Elvia's neck to keep the metal components from heating up. Despite the terrifying circumstances, Elvia remained calm. At one point, she even suggested to Maria that the bomb might be fake. She also repeatedly asked one simple question: why would anyone do this to me? For hours, Jairo worked carefully, cutting wires and dismantling parts of the device piece by piece. At times, he had to improvise, borrowing equipment from nearby workers, including a bandsaw, and at one point, heated the blade of a penknife over a candle to cut through parts of the plastic tubing. By around 10 AM, there were reports that sections of the bomb had already been removed. Despite the horror of the situation, it began to feel as if Elvia might survive. "Don't worry, ma'am," Jairo reportedly told her. "We'll get through this. Then we'll have lunch together." By midday, Elvia was exhausted. By that point, she had spent hours sitting perfectly still. Hiro said that he had dismantled about 70% of the device and had neutralized what appeared to be one of its chemical triggers. In his words, it was only a matter of time until she was free. Delighted, the man overseeing the operation, Commander Fabio Roa, carefully approached Elvia and kissed her on the cheek. He then walked towards the crowd of onlookers and told them that he expected everything to be finished within an hour. Unfortunately, he was right. Just 10 seconds later, the bomb exploded. The commander turned back toward the scene. A ball of grey smoke hung in the air, and several figures were strewn across the ground. Elvia's head and shoulders were gone, obliterated by the blast. Hiro Lopez lay nearby, gravely injured. His left arm had been completely blown off. He was airlifted to a hospital in Bogota, but died at 2 p.m. that afternoon. Several others were injured in the explosion, including another technician who lost 3 fingers. The rescue attempt had ended in catastrophe. Needless to say, the incident shocked Colombia.
Shit.
Kidnappings for ransom were tragically common at the time, but the brutality and strangeness of the Necklace of Terror case, as it was dubbed, horrified the country. In the days that followed, investigators searched for those responsible. Early speculation linked the attack to the revolutionary guerrilla group, FARC, but evidence for that theory never materialized, and it's since been deemed unlikely that they were involved. Detectives later identified a suspect named Jose Miguel Suarez, a man who had reportedly worked around the court.
What year did this happen in... Hello? I hear a loud sound outside, I'm scared. What is that? What year did this happen in? My gosh. Oh... I apologize, chat, for my quietness. I barely said a word all video.
His family's property and knew their routines. According to investigators, Suarez had experience handling explosives during his time working in mining operations. Prosecutors later connected him to a small extortion ring, Los Conejos. Suarez was eventually arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 32 years in prison, but the identities of the 3 other men who attached the bomb have never been established. The meaning of the name Talak Nico, spoken on the cassette tape, has never been definitively explained either. It may have been a pseudonym, a group name, or simply something invented to intimidate the victims into paying the ransom. Investigators say that Suarez and his crew overestimated the Cortez family's wealth. Their entire plan was built on nothing more than rumor and speculation, and Elvia and Hiro died for nothing. That being said, some people, including Elvia's own family, have a different theory. In their minds, whoever had built the device had gone through a lot of trouble, far too much for the relatively small ransom they were demanding. Prior to the bomb detonating, Elvia had apparently whispered to Maria that she recognized the voice of one of the intruders and believed it to be her neighbor's son. The 2 households were reportedly embroiled in a bitter feud, potentially over land boundaries and farming rights. In fact, just a month before her death, Elvia had been attacked at a market by someone wielding a knife. Her family now believes that Elvia's neighbors weren't only behind that attack, but the explosive collar attack as well, and that the ransom the intruders demanded was to mislead investigators and disguise their true motive: revenge. That theory remains unconfirmed. A film inspired by this incident, titled PBC
I thought the 80s were more blurry.
1, was released in 2007. This message is sponsored by Raycon.
No.
Maybe that means getting a reduction in your duck. They still love you have to surprise you to Raycon for sponsor.
Kirizumi Onsen. That sounds like it's in Japan.
Kirizumi
I'm
Onsen
going
is a scenic hot
there.
spring located deep in the mountains of western Gunma Prefecture, Japan.
Yeah.
In the early 20th century, it was a popular summer retreat, known for its cool climate, forested scenery, and mineral springs. By the 1970s, the area had grown quieter, but visitors still came to enjoy the hiking trails and the secluded atmosphere of the mountain resort.
You going to these hot springs?
What?
No, I'm going to Japan.
One such visitor was 24-year-old Keiko Inoue, an office worker from the nearby city of Isesaki. In August of 1972, she had planned an overnight stay there with her mother and younger brother. At the last minute, however, both of her relatives were forced to cancel. Rather than waste the booking, Keiko decided to go alone. On August 12th, she travelled to Kintokan, a traditional inn, or ryokan, and checked in without incident. Staff later remembered Keiko as being cheerful and talkative. She spent the day relaxing in the on-site hot springs, and reportedly didn't leave the building. After breakfast the following morning, Keiko decided to hike down the mountain into town. She had originally planned to catch the shuttle bus, but decided that the weather was too nice to miss out on. The woman running the inn told her that the journey would take around 4 hours at least, and that the temperature that day was set to reach 32 degrees Celsius. But Keiko was a determined young woman, and so she set off on foot, wearing a dark blue sleeveless blouse,
I don't know what that is in American,
a white miniskirt, and white
but it is hot.
athletic trainers. Over the next several hours, multiple people would cross her path. Most significantly, at around 2:10 p.m, a family driving down the mountain noticed her walking alone. Concerned that she still had a long journey ahead of her, they offered her a ride, but Keiko politely turned them down. That would be the last confirmed sighting of her, alive. When Keiko failed to return home to Isesaki, her parents reported her missing and travelled to the hot spring resort where she had last been seen. At least 10 of their neighbours joined them. On the evening of August 16th, while searching for Keiko just south of the Kirimizu Dam, her own father stumbled upon a rickety, 2-room cabin. Something compelled him to peer in through the rear window. There, lying on the wooden floor, was the body of a young woman. It was Keiko. The scene was brutal. Keiko was swarmed by flies and partially decomposed. According to the forensic autopsy, she had been stabbed 24 times. 3 of those wounds were inflicted more than 30 minutes after death. Defensive injuries on her hands suggested that she had fought desperately for her life, and several on her back indicated she had tried to run. Investigators determined that the attack had likely taken place between 2:30 and 3 p.m. on August 13th, less than 1 hour after her last sighting. Unfortunately for detectives, Keiko's killer had been careful. Arterial blood spray showed that he had killed her in the entrance area here, before dragging her into this second room, likely to make her body less visible to anyone peering through the doorway. Medical experts later suggested that 2 different blades may have been used in the slaying: a survival knife and a meat cleaver. Despite extensive searches of the surrounding forest and waterways, neither weapon was ever located. The only physical evidence that the killer left behind was a bloody glove print on the wall. In total, the police found 43 of Keiko's belongings hidden inside the cabin. That included her bag, clothing, a travel guide, and, crucially, her camera, which had been carefully placed in her upturned hat. When investigators developed the film, they discovered 5 photographs taken during Keiko's final day. The first 2, taken that morning at around 10 a.m, showed her smiling in front of Kintokan's water wheel. They were taken by a part-time staff member just before Keiko checked out and haven't been released to the public. The next 2 images were taken beside a waterfall further down the Hoihoizaka Trail, around an area called Shinobu Pond. At the time, the police didn't know who had taken these photographs, and a local newspaper decided to run just one of them, requesting information. Days later, a man contacted the paper. He identified himself as Yoshida, a 22-year-old repairman from Tokyo, and explained that he and a friend had been fishing at Shinobu Pond around 1:15 PM. According to the man, Keiko then approached them and asked to have her picture taken beside the waterfall. Yoshida initially refused because he was bad with cameras, but Keiko encouraged him to simply press the shutter button. He said that he did so twice. Since the paper only published one of the images, the fact that this man knew that two had been taken suggested he really was the photographer. Yoshida promised the reporters that he would go to the police and provide a full statement immediately, but he never did. When investigators attempted to locate him using the name and address which he had provided, they discovered something chilling. None of the information was real. The name, address, and workplace which he had given were completely fictitious. To this day, the identity of the man who claimed to have taken Keiko's photographs
That's the guy who killed her. Why?
remains a mystery. Which brings us to the fifth and final image, taken by the Condor waterfall. Like the first two images taken at Kintokan, this photo hasn't been released to the public, though this mock-up featuring an actress is said to be accurate. It shows Keiko standing alone in front of dense vegetation. Those who have seen the original image describe Keiko's expression as unusually serious, her posture stiff, almost tense. It's since been dubbed the spirit photo, since an ominous mist was apparently visible in the bottom of the frame. Investigators believe it was likely taken shortly before her attack. To this day, nobody knows who took it. According to one of Keiko's neighbors and family friends, quote, "When the police returned all of Keiko-chan's belongings, they showed them to me too. Among them was a photograph, said to be the last showing the poor girl, and it was eerie. She was standing there blankly in a bamboo thicket. From halfway down her legs, there was something like white smoke or cloud, and the lower part of her was cut off, and her expression had no life in it. She looked like an empty shell." According to others who have seen the photograph, the waterfall was also visible in the background, so this alternative mock-up has also been shared online. In an attempt to solve the case, police formed a special investigative task force and looked into more than 2,000 people who were in the area at the time, including hikers, anglers, ryokan employees, dam workers, and locals with a criminal record. All of them were cleared of suspicion, as were 380 of Keiko's friends, acquaintances, colleagues, and family members. In a desperate bid to solve the case, psychics were even brought in to reveal new leads. And wouldn't you know it, they ended up trying to steal the spotlight, acted possessed, and wasted everyone's time. In 1987, 15 years after the crime, the statute of limitations for murder expired. Today, Keiko's death remains officially unsolved. If a culprit is ever identified, they won't face any repercussions.
Wow. Spooky. Bigfoot is included. Y'all got some big feet. Mr. Kipper.
Susie Lamplau was a British woman born in 1961. She grew up in a close-knit family alongside 3 siblings who described her as energetic, sociable, and adventurous. She enjoyed traveling, sports, and the kind of busy social life typical of someone in their 20s. By 1986, the 25-year-old was working as an estate agent for the firm Sturgis & Sons, based in Fulham, West London. On the morning of July 28th that year, Susie arrived at her office as per usual. Her schedule for the day included several property viewings, but one appointment in particular stood out. At 12:45 PM, she was due to show a house at 37 Scholz Road to a prospective buyer who had introduced himself over the phone as Mr. Kipper. In the UK, a kipper is a cured herring. There's even a common idiom, to be done up like a kipper, which means to be severely cheated, tricked, or taken advantage of. Susie and her colleagues likely shared a laugh about the humorous surname and thought little more of it. At around midday, Susie left the office and drove to the property in her white Ford Fiesta. A witness later reported seeing her arrive at the address shortly before the scheduled viewing. A second, who lived just next door, noticed her standing outside the house at around 1 PM. Strangely, she was apparently arguing with a man. Based on their description, this identikit of the individual was created. The man was tall, had dark, swept-back hair, was around 25 to 30 years of age, and was dressed smartly in a charcoal suit. A third witness also reported seeing that same man talking with Susie, and noted that he was holding a bottle of champagne decorated with ribbons. Later, a close friend of Susie's, Barbara Whitfield, reported seeing her driving north along Fulham Palace Road at around 2:45 PM. Barbara waved, but Susie was talking with a man in the passenger seat and didn't see her. When Susie failed to return to the office later that afternoon, her colleagues initially assumed that the viewing had run long. But as the hours passed, concern began to grow. At 4:30 PM, they went to the property at 37 Shroud's Road and found it empty. By 5:30 PM, they reported Susie missing to the police. Later that evening, Susie's white Ford Fiesta was discovered abandoned on Stevenage Road. The driver's door was unlocked, the handbrake was off, and the seat had been pushed back further than Susie would have normally had it while driving. Her purse was found inside, but there was no trace of Susie anywhere. Later, another witness came forward, saying that he had seen a dark-coloured car driving south along that same road around the time that Susie vanished. Inside, he saw a woman matching her description, honking the horn, and either laughing or screaming. Both Susie's boyfriend and male flatmate were definitively ruled out as suspects. A few other people came onto the police's radar, but were also quickly
I zoned out. I don't know what's happening. What's the problem? What happened? Okay.
dismissed. One man would eventually emerge as the prime suspect though, a convicted sex offender called John Cannon. Several pieces of circumstantial evidence drew attention to him. In the months leading up to Susie's disappearance, Cannon was being granted day release. When he returned to prison in the evenings, he told the other inmates of a girl he had met at a wine bar, and said that her name was Susu. Susie's co-workers noted that prior to her vanishing, a mysterious admirer had sent a bunch of red roses to the office. Cannon was known to deliver roses to women who he took a shining to. Cannon was released from prison just 3 days before Susie vanished, and had been in the Fulham area at the time. Being an attractive young woman, Susie's manager at the office positioned her near the window to attract customers. A witness reported seeing a man resembling Cannon peering through the window of her estate agency on the day Susie disappeared. To top it off, former prison acquaintances also said that while behind bars, Cannon was known by a simple nickname: Kipper. However, there was no smoking gun, and the police were unable to make an arrest. Not until the following year at least. In 1978, Cannon joined a dating agency using the alias John Peterson. During the sign-up process, he filmed this profile video.
Yes, I have a dislike of inflated egos. People who are, they look at me, I'm great type. I don't like that.
Right.
I can't handle that sort of inner weakness.
The kind of pretentious.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I just like just normal, average people.
And what about TV comedy programs? Is there anything that you like in that vein?
I'm a little bit dry as regards humour. Yeah, that type of, mainly dry humour.
Though Cannon described his sense of humour as dry, I think it could more accurately be considered twisted. You see, a few weeks after filming this, he met and murdered a 29-year-old woman named Shirley Banks in Bristol. He later dumped her body at a site in the Quantocks known as Dead Woman's Ditch, an ominous name which dates back hundreds of years, and which he no doubt selected on purpose. He was later arrested by police in connection with Shirley's murder, and inside his BMW, they found an imitation handgun and handcuffs. Shirley's car was found in his garage, with the fake license plate SLP 386S. Some have questioned whether this was yet another dark joke of his. SLP, Susie Lamplau, 86, the year she vanished. When asked by police about the license plate, Cannon stated that he had purchased the car from a businessman who was no doubt responsible for the slayings of Susie, Shirley, and another woman, and that said businessman was now in a great deal of trouble. The other woman Cannon mentioned is believed to be Sandra Gord, a 27-year-old office worker who was murdered in Bournemouth in 1986. Though he couldn't be officially connected to that crime, Cannon would later be convicted of Shirley's murder, and for his sins was given a life sentence. He later stated that there were 1 or 2 things he was never caught for. Though DNA belonging to Susie Lamplau was later recovered from within Cannon's vehicle, the evidence against him was deemed insufficient, and he was never formally charged in connection with her vanishing either. However, the senior investigating officer working the case would later state that he was almost certainly responsible for whatever happened to her. Cannon died behind bars on November 6th, 2024. His own family had begged him to reveal where Susie was buried, but being a control freak, he never did.
A long life in prison. That's exactly what it deserves. That's why I'm against the death penalty because I think people should suffer. What are you watching? Last photos with ominous backstories. Now I'm almost falling asleep here. Cozy cat hours. Hope you guys don't mind. Cozy cat hours.
Nearly 40 years later, Susie Lamplau still hasn't been found, but her case continues to resonate, not only because of the mystery surrounding it, but also because of the legacy it left behind.
Now I'm sleepy because I have the post-tummy sleepy coziness. Yeah.
Her parents later founded the Susie Lamplau Trust, a charity dedicated to personal safety and the prevention of violence. But before she became the focus of one of Britain's most enduring missing person cases, Susie was simply a daughter and a sister, something that's easy to forget when looking at headlines or police files. That's why this photograph, taken shortly before Susie vanished, matters so much. It captures a moment from a life that ended far too soon, the kind of moment that usually passes unnoticed. It shows Susie with her 3 siblings, all of them laughing and smiling, unaware that it would be the last ever image taken of them all together.
What happened to Clara's tummy? Like a queen? I don't know. The smiling friend.
In the summer of 2017, Richard Spotty Spottiswood and his then girlfriend, Lucy Byrne, took a family trip to Cresswell Towers Caravan Park.
Lenny McQueen is bench. Lenny McQueen. Kerjow. I know I just had to tell me before stream. Now that it's worn off, I'm tired about it.
In Northumberland, England. In the spur of the moment, Richard called his friend and employee, 24-year-old Darren Bonner, and invited him to join them. Darren, who was known to friends as Zippy, worked at a garage owned by Richard, who paid him the princely sum of £25 a day and allowed him to live in a mobile home outside the shop. Behind the scenes, however, Richard was also involved in a large-scale cannabis farming operation and allegedly paid Darren extra money to tend to his farms. But that weekend wasn't about talking business. It was about kicking back. And so, between July 7th and July 9th, the trio spent time drinking, socializing, and enjoying the scenic coastline. At 1:15 AM on July 10th, after all of Richard's family had gone home, The three of them took this selfie in their rented caravan, posing together as friends do, seemingly without a care in the world. But within hours, that friendship would collapse into violence. Later that morning, at just after 8 AM, an early morning walker passing along the coast heard what he described as loud snoring noises coming from near a stone wall. Concerned, he contacted the police, and after a brief search, officers discovered Darren Bonner in an open grave, curled up in the fetal position. All of his clothes had been removed, and he was shivering uncontrollably and barely conscious. A prominent red mark was evident around his neck, and there were bruises and marks all over his torso. According to doctors, he had suffered catastrophic injuries across his torso and severe oxygen deprivation to the brain. They desperately tried to save him, but the damage caused by the apparent beating, strangulation, and prolonged exposure to the cold had left Darren with irreversible brain damage. Sadly, Darren died 16 days after being admitted. Nurses referred to him as Lionheart because of how long he held on. During their investigation, police quickly established that Darren had last been seen with Richard and Lucy during their holiday weekend. They went to pick the couple up in South Tyneside 3 days after discovering Darren, but in an effort to avoid arrest, Richard led them on a high-speed car chase. Unable to outrun the fuzz, Richard abandoned his vehicle and fled the scene on foot. A police dog later tracked his scent, and officers found him hiding in a bush. To begin with, Richard attempted to deflect suspicion. He claimed that he and Darren were thick as thieves, that the atmosphere during that trip was excellent, and that they had been having a laugh the entire weekend, as evidenced by their final selfie together. Darren had simply wandered off in the middle of the night, and when Richard awoke, he was gone. In fact, Richard was quite frankly offended that he was even being considered as a suspect, and he made sure to continuously remind detectives of that. But when that approach failed, Richard then came up with a new story. According to him, Darren sold stolen firearms. He had apparently brought a sawn-off shotgun to the caravan park and had dug a deep hole in which to hide it. Richard had graciously offered to help him and walked off with Darren in the middle of the night. However, while at the hole, Darren became physically violent. Richard defended himself and accidentally knocked Darren unconscious and into the hole. When asked why he removed Darren's clothes, Richard simply said that he panicked. When asked where the mysterious shotgun was, he said that he took it back to his workplace, but that somebody had since stolen it. Investigators quickly dismissed Richard's account, telling him that a plethora of evidence pointed towards him being Darren's killer. That included an extensive amount of CCTV footage, which showed him driving to the gravesite, signs of a major struggle within their caravan, and forensics collected at the scene. As a cherry on top, Darren's clothes and disassembled mobile phone were found inside Richard's van, along with a receipt
Why though? What's the motive?
for a garden fork, which he may have used to dig the hole. What exactly transpired between the two men remains murky. According to prosecutors though, Richard accused his young employee of spying for a rival drug gang that night and decided to make an example out of him. He then placed Darren in a headlock and strangled him so tightly that the blood vessels in his face burst. Investigators also found evidence that he had struck Darren at least 12 times across the back with a rod-shaped weapon and beat him across his entire body. Though Richard's girlfriend, Lucy Byrne, initially played dumb, she later served as a witness for the prosecution, saying that she had been awoken by a horrible row between Richard and Darren in the early hours of July 10th, and that she had, quote, never seen her boyfriend look so evil. According to her version of events, she didn't see Richard kill Darren. However, when she and Richard left the holiday resort in the morning, Richard apparently refused to let her look in the rear compartment of the van. At one point, he stopped the vehicle near the location where Darren was later found, dragged a large object from the van, and disappeared for around 10 minutes before returning drenched in sweat. Many have since questioned whether Lucy really didn't know what her boyfriend was up to. Indeed, the police believe that she may have even helped him carry out the plan. Lucy was originally charged with murder alongside.
Wow. So he dug a shallow grave and put him in it, but didn't bury him. Thank God we're dealing with bozos here.
Richard. However, due to insufficient evidence that she participated in the killing, she was later cleared of that charge and instead pleaded guilty to assisting an offender, receiving a sentence of 30 months in prison. As for Richard Spottiswoode, he was convicted of Darren's murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 22 years. That minimum term has since been reduced to 20. Though premeditation couldn't be established in this case, I can't help but wonder how spontaneous this murder actually was. 3 days before his death, Darren had called his ex-girlfriend, Donna, and reportedly told her, "I've fallen out with Spotty. He's gonna do me in." Meaning, he's going to kill me. Darren was apparently preparing to flee town. Later that same day, however, Richard picked him up and drove him to the holiday resort. Perhaps Darren thought he had been forgiven for whatever he had done wrong. Perhaps he felt like he had no choice but to go with Richard. According to forensic archaeologists, it would have taken a man of Richard's size around an hour to dig the shallow grave which Darren was found in. A risky move, which contradicts the CCTV evidence. But what if the hole was pre-dug? That would mean that in this moment, as the trio hugged and smiled together, Richard knew that he was about to take Darren's life. If that's the case, then this photo doesn't actually show how quickly an ordinary moment can turn dark. It shows a murderous attempt to create an alibi.
Damn. Wow.
Hey guys.
Wow. Well, at least 2 people in the video got justice. Yay! Justice! Yay! Q-log. Yeah, I guess I should. Not gonna go to the bathroom though, I'm just gonna sit. But I'll turn on the fish for you guys. Yeah. Yay, 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 yay. Yay. Hey guys, I'll be right back. Yay, blah, 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 blah. But heating up some water for tea. Tea. Ah. Ha. Ha. Tea. Ha. Do you have to jump up to get onto your chair? No, because it's on the lowest height. I have a height adjustable chair. I made it too hot. Okay, guys. Oh my gosh, this one's 42 minutes long. I clicked on it because it doesn't have a title. And I was very curious about it because it doesn't have a title. How are you feeling? Cat is eeping. will start watching this video and see what it is. I just, yeah, I clicked on it because the thumbnail was creepy and it didn't have a title. So let's figure it out. Canada, premium Canada, Canada.
If you've been an avid viewer of YouTube in the last couple of years, you may have noticed a strange phenomenon on the platform that only occasionally rears its head. An anomaly that's so infrequent and transient that you might not even believe that you actually experienced it, much like spotting a Sasquatch far in the distance on some remote hiking trail. If you don't pay close attention to your recommended feed, then you may have never noticed it happening. But look a little closer, and you may eventually see a nameless video pop up, an upload that completely lacks a title, solely relying on its thumbnail to communicate its identity. Nameless videos have been springing up on YouTube since at least 2020, but they've become a more frequent phenomenon in the last couple of years. And like I just said, it's one that's very transient, which is due to the inherent nature of a video that completely lacks a title. If one of these uploads surfaces in your feed and you don't click on it, you'll lose it forever. When a video doesn't have a title, it becomes impossible to search for. This almost leaves these bizarre clips in the realm of urban legend. You might see one day, not click on it, and then never find it again, with the whole experience living in your head as what you may perceive to be some sort of false memory. But regardless, these uploads are very real.
Like that.
They often depict
This is the first video that I've seen that has it.
unexplainable and sometimes disturbing content. Clearly, the ambiguity implied by a video not having a name is a very deliberate choice by these uploaders. Today, we're gonna go through every corner of the nameless section of YouTube, starting with the most prominent example of this trend, and possibly the most mysterious as well. This grainy, low-quality video shows a person in a mask playing a haunting melody on the piano while staring off into the distance. It only lasts for a brief 44 seconds, but that was enough for it to leave a major impact. After being uploaded in April 2024, this untitled video would instantly go viral, finding its way into seemingly everybody's recommended feeds. I remember seeing this video on my
That never happened to me. Unlucky.
homepage with this eerie thumbnail and complete lack of a title. I never clicked on it though, and the thought did enter my mind that maybe I just imagined it, but I didn't. It's a little surreal to be watching this a couple years later. This nameless video
Videos voiced over by breathy white boys. Spiritual. Yeah. I like that PZKPFW8 mouse. That was very funny, man. Enjoyed that. Thank you.
was put up by a channel called Zeppelin, and it's accumulated a massive 4.5 million views. It has no description, but it does have a location. The channel that put up this video wants to communicate to you that it was filmed in hell. Obviously, I don't believe this was taken in hell, but I do enjoy the idea of a YouTube video that's set in a non-tangible location that exists outside this plane of reality. It does pair nicely with the unsettling content of this video, along with the complete lack of any other information to accompany it. When reading the comments on this video, you'll notice a disconnect in the response people seem to have to it. Everybody seems to describe it as both calming and unsettling, two opposing feelings that you wouldn't really expect to be able to coexist. But keep this emotional paradox in mind, as it's going to be a reoccurring theme today. Commenters also mentioned that they mostly got here because this video popped up on everybody's homepage. I wouldn't be surprised if you remember this video appearing somewhere in your YouTube feed, almost like a dream everybody had in the same night. But why was this video springing up everywhere? Investigating the metadata more closely only brings up more questions. This video, unlike some of the others we'll look at today, truly doesn't have a title. It's not using a blank character or some other hack to make it merely look like it doesn't have a title. It actually doesn't have any name attached. This shouldn't be possible. When uploading a clip to YouTube, adding a name is mandatory. You can't simply upload a video that doesn't have a title. And yet, that's exactly what Zeppelin has done. At the time this video was put up, it was the only piece of content on this channel, which itself was created in 2020. It originally didn't have a description, but somewhere along the line, one would be written. It would simply state, woman, which may offer a clue as to the gender of the person in the mask. Maybe looking at the video itself a little closer may offer some answers. It appears to be set behind the curtains of a stage, perhaps in a school gymnasium considering the tiling on the wall. You could surmise that this is a backstage piano that's normally used to provide music for whatever play or musical is being carried out on the stage that exists off camera. But hang on, something is off here. Take a look at the wall again. See that number? It's backwards. This video has been mirrored. It's a relatively inconsequential detail, but it's still odd nonetheless. Looking at that same spot on the wall, we can also see some power outlets, which appear to be Type C, possibly placing this video in Europe. But beyond that, there's not really much else we can uncover from this video. There's nothing to suggest any deeper mystery or narrative at play here, but that wouldn't stop internet sleuths from trying to find one. With this video popping up in so many people's feeds, it became a bit of a popular mystery. People wanted to find out why this video was everywhere. Was it a marketing stunt for some bigger project? Was it the entry point into a disturbing internet rabbit hole? Netizens would start digging. They'd fail to identify the song being played in the video, meaning it's either an original piece or just simply improvisation. They'd also try to identify the woman in the mask. One German language TikToker known as Dunkelkammer would claim that this was all a project of Helenka CH, a Swiss comedian and performance artist who's known for playing the piano. She does appear in some videos wearing a black wig similar to the one in the Zeppelin video, but I think this connection is shaky at best. There's nothing to connect Helenka to Zeppelin beyond the fact that she's from Europe, plays the piano, and has worn a black wig in the past. The TikToker didn't offer any evidence either, merely stating that it could be Helenka. No, I don't think this is an elaborate project by an established artist, nor do I think there's any deeper meaning to this at all. I think the second video on this channel provides just enough context to explain this whole thing.
They're dancing. Wow.
Uploaded only a month after the first video, this second one, titled BearDance.mp4, also doesn't have a description. And this time, the video's location is set to heaven. This clip proudly displays a person in a suit and bear mask doing a silly dance accompanied by what's obviously improvised piano. The music starts off calm but gets more chaotic as the 35-second video goes on, enticing the bear to dance faster and faster until it can't keep up and ultimately collapses. You'll notice the tiling here matches the first video perfectly, and while it's dark you can't make out what appears to be some sort of cloth hanging above the tiles. Perhaps a curtain. You could surmise that this video was taken in front of the stage with the curtain fully drawn. I don't think Zeppelin is an elaborate art project, I think this is a result of some theater kids screwing around. The suit worn by the person in the bear mask is incredibly ill-fitted and looks very much like a costume you would see in a high school play. You could say the same thing.
Yeah, get the ashes. The one yeah. Conspiracy theorists try not to extrapolate how the obscure YouTube channel is actually a depiction of Hell Challenge. I love when people do the exact opposite of that, like what Chilling does. So, props to this guy for just straight up going, yeah, these are some theater kids messing around. I love that so much.
About the dress worn by the piano player in the first video. I think Zeppelin is simply a student who uploaded a video that was just vague and visually interesting enough to capture people's attention, in turn creating a viral video that lacked any sort of purpose. I think it can be hard for internet sleuths to deal with situations like this. Everybody always assumes there's some deeper narrative at play or some information waiting to be uncovered. But sometimes the internet is just weird and it's nothing more complicated than that.
Yeah.
That being said, there still is somewhat of a mystery here. Why did this video get shown to so many people? How is it possible to put a video on YouTube with a blank title? We're going to answer those questions today, but not quite yet. You see, Zeppelin is not the only channel on YouTube uploading unnamed videos. We're still at the entrance of this rabbit hole, so why don't we travel a little deeper?
It's him, it's the breathy white boy. We found him.
This video depicts a statue of an angel sitting alone in the middle of a cemetery in the dead of night. It appears to be lit by
So, are we just going through different videos? It's her! We know her, we know who she is.
a bright flash originating from the viewpoint of the camera, which may suggest that it's a still photo despite all the jitter and VHS noise, which in turn implies that this is in fact a video of a static scene. The visuals are accompanied by the song, A Faint Signal by Infinity Frequencies, who is a musician famous for their work in the broken transmission genre, a form of music that samples and loops very short snippets of commercial jingles and other lost pieces of forgotten TV and radio broadcasts. I can't play the song in this video for copyright reasons, but I have made a couple broken transmission albums myself, so what you're listening to now is my own take on this genre. Since the samples broken transmission tends to source from are very short, these songs often end up repeating the same few bars over and over again, almost creating a sort of drone, which thematically matches up nicely with this single unchanging scene in a graveyard. Just like that Zeppelin video, this upload was also put up in May 2024, and it too would quickly go viral. It's currently sitting at just under 5 million views. It has no title, and the description merely credits the song in the video. Almost every commentator is talking about how this clip just inexplicably popped up on their home screen, and once again, there's that talk of being unsettled and comforted at the same time. The video was uploaded by a channel called Somebody, and unlike Zeppelin, there's a lot more to uncover here. Their next few uploads would follow the same format. Broken transmission or other internet-based genre of ambient music plays accompanied by some liminal space. This video features an iconic piece by digital artist 918. It depicts a shopping cart in front of a bungalow in an American-style suburb, wrapped in a looming red dusky sky.
I love liminal.
It's a scene that feels familiar, but it's just uncanny enough to not feel real, as if it's a memory from a dream, rather than from your actual life. The next upload features an empty room that seems very familiar, doesn't it? Not in some liminal space anemoia, but rather like I've actually seen this space somewhere before. Do you feel like that as well? If you do, it's because this is a digital recreation of the room shown in the I Feel Fantastic video. It really takes on a different tone when that eerie mannequin isn't singing in the middle of it. It's like the owner just packed up and left, and the only thing left behind is the lamp sitting in the corner to light the room. It's like a reminder that even in the realm of iconic disturbing internet videos, all things will eventually pass. This is the gist of the first few videos on the Somebody channel. Untitled videos featuring liminal spaces accompanied by eerie internet ambient music. It's reminiscent of the sorts of liminal space compilation videos you would see a few years ago, but things would start to evolve as the uploads kept rolling in.
Liminal spaces were never a phase to me. Liminal spaces are my life.
This video starts off like the others, but there's something off about this one. The song credit that's usually in the description isn't right. It only displays 3 question marks and nothing else. The scene we're shown here is a grocery store in the middle of the night. Once again, it's a familiar setting presented in an unfamiliar way, which is the most effective method of evoking that liminal space feeling. The lights are out and the only illumination is coming from the strip lights on the dairy cooler. We can see some jugs of milk laying on the ground, as if somebody's been messing with the merchandise after the store closed, which could imply that we're not alone. You'll notice something new in this video. The movement isn't just isolated to VHS noise and jitter. There's actually dust floating around in this scene. This isn't just a still image anymore. As the video nears its end, the dust seems to get a little heavier, and then a figure very briefly comes into view, at which point the video completely cuts out.
I didn't even see
In
it.
a
Was that
subsequent upload, we can
Slenderman?
see a CRT TV mounted on a column inside a completely empty carpeted room. The screen is only displaying static,
Hey,
but eventually,
Slenderman.
just for a fleeting moment, a face almost comes into view, but quickly disappears, being replaced by a piece of text.
Rapture is near.
The face pops up a couple more times, and just before the video cuts out, we get another title slide. Again, it's only on screen for a single frame, and it's very easy to miss.
Everything you love will die.
These are the first pieces of actual exposition we've gotten for this channel. But what does it mean? There's clearly a reoccurring theme of death, but before we start uncovering the narrative that connects all these videos, we need to keep going. Things only get more dynamic from here. We're no longer staring at a stationary scene. The same dust and VHS filter is here, but we're now moving through a cornfield in the middle of the night. We get a couple moody atmospheric shots of trees and grass only being lit by a light coming from the camera, until the video cuts out without leaving us much we can add to the story. But the same can't be said about the next video on this channel. We're now in what seems to be an empty hospital. It's not the middle of the night, and it doesn't appear to be abandoned, but there's still nobody here. As the scenes come and go, a floating light can eventually be seen at the end of a dark hallway. It begins moving through the walls and floors, as if it's trying to escape this place. The video cuts out abruptly, but the next upload appears to pick up right where it left off. We seem to be in the middle of some dilapidated eastern neighborhood on a gloomy, overcast day, maybe in Russia or northern China. The light now appears to be outside, floating aimlessly around the gray, rundown apartment buildings. The orb keeps rising, and in the final scene of the video, we can see several lights floating up towards the sky. The Somebody channel is showing us a post-rapture world, an empty earth only filled with the things we left behind. The white figure in the darkness, the bright orbs of light trying to escape mazes of hallways and buildings to find their way to the sky. You can easily label these as spirits or ghosts finding their way out of the human world and into whatever lays beyond. Liminal spaces are often presented as a sort of dream reality, places in between, empty settings that resemble the real world but are just off enough to disqualify them from being real. What better way to present liminal spaces than in a world that recently experienced a rapture? The Somebody channel is one of the more interesting art pieces I've seen on YouTube. It doesn't present you with an explicit and overbearing narrative. It merely shows you these calming but slightly disquieting videos that don't have a title. You can find an underlying story if you choose to, but you also don't have to. You can take these videos at face value, as what many commenters describe as an internet checkpoint. This is a concept that's actually been around for a long time. When I was a teenager, internet checkpoints were usually presented in the form of a vaporwave song, a genre featuring slowed down samples of sanitized corporate sounding music from the 80s and 90s, accompanied by some nostalgic imagery, like screenshots of Windows 95 or clips of some Nintendo 64 game. These internet checkpoints were kind of like the digital equivalent of a roadside lookout you might come across while making your way through a long car trip. It's an opportunity to stop whatever you're doing and just silently reflect for a few seconds, to experience a moment of mindful awareness in cyberspace. This trend never really died out, but it definitely lost a bit of prominence in the mid-2010s, likely coinciding with the decline in Vaporwave's popularity. But the advent of liminal spaces and subsequently liminal space compilation videos brought the idea of an internet checkpoint back into the public consciousness. And in particular, the Somebody channel revived the trend with a newfound fervor. These videos are truly the perfect form of an internet checkpoint. They occasionally appear in your recommended feed, but without a title, they can't be searched.
It's never appeared in my feed.
You can never consciously look for them. The only way to experience one of these checkpoints is to stop whatever you're
I've never experienced it.
doing and take a moment to soak it in. While the Somebody channel does indeed have a narrative, it's most widely known as a channel that publishes internet checkpoints. And with these videos garnering so many views, it's no wonder why other channels would begin to emulate this format. Another prominent user is this one, whom I can't actually name because they don't have one. Just like Somebody, they post nameless videos of liminal scenes, accompanied by various forms of internet ambient music, whether it's broken transmission or some other post-vaporwave subgenre. Some of these videos have a lot of views, with their most viewed upload having 1.5 million. This channel is not unique. Both the format and the motifs are a direct copy of Somebody, and there are several other channels that follow this exact design. Chances are, if you've seen a Nameless YouTube video pop up on your homepage, it likely comes from one of these somebody copycat channels. You could even argue that Zeppelin unintentionally made an internet checkpoint. The creepy dark imagery, the calming music, it all fits the format. But you can't use the concept of an internet checkpoint to explain all Nameless YouTube videos. There are corners of this strange world that don't quite fit that mold. Like all the others we've looked at today, the following video has no title, and it also centers around a song, but the content of this upload is quite different. I can't actually play you any of the audio here because it's copyrighted, but judging based on the visuals that are now on your screen, it probably won't be very hard to guess what this music sounds like. This is a Vocaloid song, a popular genre of Japanese electronic pop music that utilizes synthesized vocals. The most popular figure in this genre is Hatsune Miku, whom I'm sure you've heard of. Hatsune Miku and some of the other popular Vocaloid artists aren't actually artists at all, and are instead more like products, characters that were developed by a team of people working for a corporation. This Vocaloid song, though, isn't like that. This was indeed created by a single person, one that came out of nowhere and uploaded a nameless video that garnered 26 million views. While the content of this video and the music that accompanies it may seem lighthearted on the surface, it is in fact hiding something a little darker. Around 50 seconds in, the vocals abruptly stop, and long lines of text begin filling the screen.
January 8th, 2004, 11 p.m. It's funny. The train just wouldn't stop. It's finally stopped. Just what kind of place is this? I don't know of such a train station. I want to get out of here. No one is in this place. The distant sun is...
This ominous text definitely contrasts with the cheery sound of the song. It wouldn't be the first time an upbeat pop song randomly hit a dark message within its music video.
Ouch.
But this example is far from random. Quite a few years ago, there was a subsection of the internet that I got pretty invested in: beer money websites. If you're not familiar, it's a community of people who use these platforms where you can earn a little bit of money by doing small tasks on the internet. During this video, on January 8th, 2004, a woman using her cell phone would start a thread on 2chan, the Japanese image board that 4chan was based off of. She tells the other Anons that
I know about this creepypasta. So, this video just going through different stories. Because this is totally different from the other one. They're gonna go through the story about that pasta train stopped in another dimension. Aw, cool beans. It's been 2 hours. Oh, my freaking back hurts. Is it because of my tummy ache, or is it because of all the freaking exercising I did for you guys yesterday? Wow. Yeah, give me a back massage. Okay, I don't want to listen to this story. What?
we've touched on being completely disconnected from each other. So for our next topic, we're going to explore something a little different and much more unsettling. What you're currently watching is a viral video from 2010 titled Let Me Hear Your War Cry. It's a few frames taken from the movie Full Metal Jacket, with mannequin faces superimposed onto the characters. Even 16 years later, this clip is still pretty disturbing. It's one of the earliest examples I personally remember watching of a bygone genre of creepy internet content. Horror shitposting. This niche is a form of horror media completely unique to the internet. Before the world went online, horror was only represented in the traditional forms of legacy media. Movies, TV shows, books, short stories, etc. But the feeling horror gives you doesn't necessarily have to be tied to some larger work of art. You don't need to watch an entire movie to experience the emotions of anxious excitement that a good work of horror can evoke. The internet was the first time in human history where horror began to detach itself from larger works of traditional media. The exact same thing happened with comedy. With the advent of online video sharing, you didn't have to open a newspaper to the funny pages or watch an entire episode of a sitcom to get a laugh anymore. You could just load up YouTube and watch a 30-second viral video that packaged the experience of comedy into its barest form. Without the guardrails of traditional media, funny YouTube videos could turn up the absurdity dial way higher, which oftentimes made internet comedy much more effective than whatever you would find on TV. The same effect can be seen with horror shitposting. Horror works best in situations with low context, when you don't really know what's going on. The more you explain things, the less scary they become. A video like Let Me Hear Your War Cry works perfectly because there's no context at all. You're simply thrown into an absurd scene and given no clues to what's going on. This is the whole idea behind horror shitposting. There's no narrative in these videos, just mysterious, surreal, and frightening imagery that defies any and all logic. It's horror in its purest form. And our last topic today may just be the most effective implementation of this concept.
White girl, go.
If this video looks familiar, it's because I actually covered it a couple years ago.
White girl,
but today, we're gonna dive a little deeper into this channel, which is...
I don't like how this video is a bunch of different things. I don't like how it's a bunch of different things. So actually there are 2 new Chilling Scares videos. But I don't want to watch them today. I'm too freaking tired and low energy. I want to watch them tomorrow. When I'm high energy birthday party cat time. You know, watch them with pizza. Cause I'll get pizza tomorrow. So, period. That'll be it for today. Cause I wanted to stream a little bit. But I don't like doing streams when I'm low energy. Because I feel boring. I want to entertain you guys, but I feel boring. Oh, my parents are home from Costco. Perfect timing, let's go. I'm glad that you guys think I'm not boring. But I still get self-conscious about being boring when I'm low energy, so... I will rest tonight and come... What time is the stream tomorrow? I'm gonna make the stream half hour earlier. Yeah, tomorrow's stream will be a half hour earlier. Yeah. So look forward to that. We'll have plenty of time to have plenty of fun party time. Yay! We'll do stuff and we'll party. Party, yeah! So at 5, yeah, half hour. Hey, I will see you guys tomorrow for the last stream before my hiatus. Wow! Hey, it'll be a good one. It'll be a fun one. Hey, I love you guys so much. Have a good rest so we can go get kicking butts at the party tomorrow. I love you. Hey. Mwah. Mwah. Yeah. Him to the moon. Hey. Okay. Good night. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.
Days seem sometimes as if they'll never end. Sun takes its heels to taunt you, but after sunlit days, one thing stays the same. Rises the moon. Days fade into a watercolor blur. Memories swim and haunt you, but look into the lake, shimmering like smoke. Rises the moon. Oh, close your weary eyes. I promise you that soon the autumn